Mortal Kombat 11. Round 1. Fight. Yeah. Mortal Kombat, baby. MK11. It's a cool game. It's cool how they put 11 with the M and the K. It's creative. They're always innovating and pushing the boundaries and doing something different. Imagine a world without Mortal Kombat. That'd be kind of weird. Yeah. This game's hot. I think it was bigger and brighter and nicer, cleaner than MKX. MK11 makes MKX look really old and outdated. It's pretty crazy. Like the graphics significance. I think the gameplay and everything's really similar, but like, yeah, it makes MKX look aged a lot. and granted, that's what it's supposed to do, but it's like, yeah, the difference is pretty wild. Yeah, they just keep pumping these Mortal Kombats out. I don't know how. I'm not complaining, it's cool. I mean, shit, keep it going. More and more and more. Dude, people eat this kind of dude, like leaks, guest characters, reveals, rosters. Unfortunately, I think the last thing anyone thinks about is like the story, right? But when does Mortal Kombat stories ever really been good? It's always been the exact same thing over and over. I love this franchise. I love Warner Brothers. I love, like, it's so funny how that works out too, because Warner Brothers, I think specifically, they are so brilliant in the way that they can come up with such a solid story, such a background and a plot and the lore and whatever you want to kind of call it. There's such a backstory to every single character that's ever been put out or produced or however it works with this company specifically. I've been watching a lot of DC animation. It's insane how they can take one character, redo that character a billion times in a billion different ways. It's still just as good. Dude, how many times have we seen Bruce Wayne's little, you know, parent catastrophe? It's the same thing in the Mortal Kombat. They've been doing the same thing for so long, dude. What is it, like 20 something years now? I don't even know. It's honestly impressive. I mean, granted, a lot of games and a lot of things have been doing the same thing for a long time, but I don't think... I mean, dude, Mortal Kombat is still very popular, it's still very relevant, it's still very modern. That's kind of the point. My point is, like, they just aged so well because they knew ahead of time that, hey, these are things that were going to be so successful up to a point where it is going to be constantly distributed throughout the years to people of different ages, different generations, different times, different technology, different ways of life, and things that are happening around us. And they knew that too. They didn't try too hard to be like, hey, let's make something that, like, is really good, but it lasts, like, you know, it has a lifetime of like about 5 years. You know, things die out really quickly. A lot of good ideas die out. A lot of good plans and thoughts and I mean, dude, people have been making, whether it's superhero stuff, video games, movies, music, for so long. A lot of it'll always be remembered in history and always will be available to you, basically, for the most part. Everything's recorded and basically, if anything, the internet, right? Like, DC animation, it's like, well, some of those are really old, but they're not old, but like, you know, the point is you could still watch whenever you want. It could be something like a year ago and you wouldn't have even known it. It could be something yesterday. It could be something like 10 years ago. That's what Mortal Kombat does too. It didn't define itself too much in its own world and kept it interesting enough throughout where people just started to accept that and was accustomed to it and liked it. So I have no problem with the fact that they keep recycling their stuff. Because, funny enough, it works. I love seeing these characters come back. I love seeing new ones. I love seeing the surprises. I do like seeing this story because it's so good. Good versus evil. It's basic. You can't go wrong with that, right? You're safe there. But they don't try to mix it up too much. They don't try to, like, make it something it's not. They found something they like to do. They stick with it. They're loyal in that sense. They're determined and passionate. And those are qualities that I can really look up to in that way. But granted, it wouldn't take much for someone else to be like, oh, you know, it's just a Mortal Kombat, man. Some people don't like Mortal Kombat. Which is kind of insane, because it's like, what's there to not like, dude? I mean, they revolve half of the world around, you know, Asian themes and fighting, and you just, it's perfect. Can't go wrong. Monsters, demons, gore, blood, violence, hot girls. Everyone's just so unique. You've had so many characters throughout time, and a lot of them, granted, a lot of them are forgettable, but the iconic ones stand out so much in their own ways that they can carry these games or whatever so easily. Not to mention, this franchise puts in a lot of work. All the series, all the animations they do, they do a lot. There's like how many Mortal Kombat theme song remixes out there? Like between this and MKX alone, the coolest guest characters I've probably ever seen. Dude, they're killing it. They make a lot of money, very successful. They get the licenses for these guest characters. They throw tournaments very regularly. Like real legit tournaments too. I mean, I don't know, dude, the king of it's funny, you want to call Tekken like the king of fighting games. King of Iron Fist tournament. I'm not even gonna get into Street Fighter, but like, just Mortal Kombat, man. It's so good. It's too good. I can't help it. And the fact that when this came out specifically, the gold theme, the yellow, you know, I think they came back really fresh, really 2020 plus, right? Really, just really like, ugh, it's so good, and just, you know, these games have to be as good as they are too, because they know that these games have to last a while between the tournaments and online and just getting the game, trying it out, playing the campaign, doing the arcade stuff, grinding, the crypt. Honestly, I haven't really played this a lot. I'd like to play it more. I like MKX as well, but it does feel a bit dated. And granted, I've already beat the story here, the campaign, but I mean, dude, that's like a fourth of the game, you know? I'd like to spend more time just fucking around playing arcade mode, or you know, getting more costumes or doing whatever. I don't know. It's just a fun game I haven't really spent enough time with. And especially the fact that it does have a next gen version and stuff, right? So it's kind of one of those things where it'd be nice to play more of it because it looks good. It plays really good. You're getting a lot of frames. It just feels good. It still feels so new. And that's what they're able to pull off each and every game, is the fact that, like, you know, things just look and feel and play really good. Because they're doing something, and they're a movie studio as well, right? They do hundreds of movies, thousands maybe. I don't know. Warner Bros. Has been around for a long time, WB. So they're doing something with these face models, the animation, the polish, the graphics, the style, to where, like, dude, it's so crisp. And it's just eye candy. You could almost say it's too distracting, because it's like, well, hey, you're trying to fight, right? But everything just looks so good. All the detail, all the animations from the characters and the stages, and let alone the cutscenes look so damn good.
By the Elder Gods.
Yeah, I love everything Warner Brothers does. The Batman series, or some of the animated movies, are some of my favorite things to watch and listen to, and really soothing, relaxing, calming. The live action Batmans are good, and all their DC stuff, live, animated, whatever. They do so much good work, dude. They do it all. Harry Potter, I mean, you name it. It's just such good entertainment. Okay, Looney Tunes, whatever. They do everything. They've made so much of, like, so many relevant things. Like, granted, there's also Universal Studios, all that other bullshit, but, like, man, I don't know. If I had to choose a favorite movie or just media company, I guess, dude, it'd be Warner Brothers so easily. Which I used to be more into Universal, but I think you don't really notice this type of stuff until you just start getting so magnetized towards the stuff that this particular studio does. There's just so much there that it's undeniable. You can't really, like, not accept the fact that they do so much and so many things that I like. So yeah, I'd say they're probably my favorite media company. I wouldn't say they're my favorite games in particular. Like, they don't, I don't think they make a lot of games, right? I don't know. But yeah, it's the same way as, like, I like Capcom as a game studio or something, for example. I just think it's cool it's nice to have favorites, because it's kind of easy to not have favorites too, and it's like, hell, if I was gonna pick something to be my favorite, it better be damn good. It better have a good reputation and good quality in the things that they stand by and they put out. But it's not just Warner Bros here. I never know when to say like WB, Warner Bros, Warner Brothers. Either way. Yeah, like they do like Scooby-Doo and stuff, right? And I think they did Lord of the Rings as well. I'm not particularly sure. I know a lot of this stuff is like on HBO, right? HBO Max, but yeah, everything on HBO isn't just Warner Brothers, obviously. A majority of it is, though. Like, what, a fifth of it, if anything? Something like that. So, like, one of their main outlets. But see, that's just another reason, though. It's like, even HBO has just everything good on it. They got Ghibli movies on there. Yeah. And, you can't forget NetherRealm. Dude, this is NetherRealm's thing. This is only what they do. This is all that they do. It's their only purpose and goal in life is to work on Mortal Kombat. So, I think studios like that. I think they're very niche. I think they're very specialized. They're like special forces, you know? They only go in when they're needed, and they're a lot more rare and not necessarily as well known. But I realized, like, hey, there's like parent studios. There's this whole weird thing about them. I don't really know where all that goes and stands with this game, I guess, in particular, but it's just good work. You know, it's kind of nice when these studios, whether it is Warner Bros. Or NetherRealm, they can just focus on what's in front of them, and they're not trying to do like 100 different projects at once. And granted, this is why there's different studios throughout the world, is to do these games that they're needing to do. But some of these companies are so big, and I think they like the smell of their own their own crap too much, that like I mean, I don't know. It's like, and granted, Mortal Kombat's not really much different. Like, they're so popular where, you know, you could consider some sort of greed there, some sort of ego. But I do think that they do it in like just a less conspicuous way, a less obvious way. The company I'm thinking of that saying this is like EA, for example, or something like that. I don't even know. Just, you know, cash grabs, and they do so well on their own with what they do that the franchise gets carried. It gets carried just enough to last and to survive. Because of the fact, okay, like they only make little itty bits off of each game. Well, the games are obviously the biggest thing, right? Off of each movie, off of each series, off of each animated movie, which is kind of in its own category at this point. You know, royalties out of each EDM remix, word of mouth, commercialism, marketing, merchandise. I haven't seen a lot of people with a lot of merch exactly, unless like you're into like the tournaments, right? Mortal Kombat itself has aged quite a bit, and as in like it's been around for a while. Like, it's not as young as it used to be. They're still getting away somewhat with the same things that they've always done, but obviously we've come such a long way since Mortal Kombat 2, for example. So I like that they're still going. Yes, they're still being worked on and all these things, but how well are they being worked on today? It's one of those arguments where, like, I think some things that are alive for so long, maybe they did meet their end at some point, but that's kind of hard. That's kind of tough to say too, because it's like a lot of things are still doing very well today. Pokemon, Star Wars, just for some examples. They're still pushing new stuff out today. There's still... It's a job, you know, like new people work on new things. That's where a lot of these things can fall flat, is the fact that, like, I think once, Ed Boon, for example, George Lucas, you know, George R.R. Martin, basically creators of these things, right? They start to have less and less of a hand in it all, the creative process, which can be considered a thing. It is tough to say sometimes, because, like, obviously, like, they have a hand in it, right? Like, it's their baby, but, like, Todd McFarlane with Spawn, it's just things like that, like, all the superhero stuff. There's a lot of legal things that can get in the way sometimes, but at the same time, you know, granted, they have enough of a say in the stuff that keeps getting put out, where... But how long is that gonna last, right? That's kind of my point, is what I'm getting to, is like, you know, once these things that have been around for a while, they're still around, I'm curious what's gonna happen to these things, you know, way down the line, like 50 years from now. I really hope these things are still around, but it makes you do question, like, how long are these gonna last? And there's really no point in thinking about that now, but I just hope even, like, our kids and the next generation or whatever can still enjoy these very cool, good, big things that we got to enjoy. I mean, it's been at a day and age where, like, stuff like this is totally fine. Like, it should last forever, and there's no real reason why it shouldn't. If it's survived a certain amount of years, there's a good chance it'll keep going until it... I don't know. I think when anything can last about 10 plus years, you're pretty golden right there. Because obviously there's something going on, even with the time changes and all that, right? Yeah, the gameplay is good. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 is just, it's tasty. It's got lots of flavor. It's very intuitive and innovative, and fortunately I don't really I don't know, like, I like story. It's not that I hate story, it's just examples like this where, I don't know, dude, going back in time traveling, it's just, we've seen it so many times. And granted, for what this game is and when it came out, what it's doing, what it did, I mean, the time travel thing works. It is cool. But to be fair, it's like, hey, we've seen 80s movies. It's like like, nothing has really changed as far as stuff like that goes for so long. And to be fair, like, future stuff, you know, time traveling, all that, like, it is not my favorite. I don't mind it, but it is something I will avoid if I can. And I don't know, it's just kind of a lame excuse for, like, story. Hey, let's go back in time. Let's take all these characters and kind of bring them all back. Let's display them how they are today and how they were and yada. I don't know. It's just, I think for Mortal Kombat, and I think for MK11, I think for today, this game, I think it works. Like, it's been long enough where it's like, hey, if you want to do this time travel thing, go ahead. I definitely don't mind. I think it makes the most sense. I just don't like it. I still don't prefer it, but for what it is, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, everything's still here. You got most of the characters that you see in every single game. You still got your fatalities, brutalities, all that stuff. The campaign's like literally the same thing as MKX, except better. I don't think there's quick time events here. It's the same direction. It's the same type of style. Play the good guys. You know, a little bit of cutscene, a little bit of fighting, back and forth, seamless transitions. But yeah, you do get to experience you do get to experience the new stages, the new characters, good, bad ones. It is a different story. It's a little more epic, I think. It's a little more bigger. But MKX is pretty big too, right? I mean, they're both good. They both kind of reach that expectation of what we want out of Mortal Kombat. You know, Outworld, Earthrealm, blah blah blah, bad guys, armies of darkness, whatever. You still get like your comedic reliefs here and there, and your big goofballs who think they're, you know, kings and gods of the universe, whatever. Yeah, just same old goofy, you know, fun but serious, extreme, wacky, strange, odd Mortal Kombat that we all know and love. Yeah, and one thing I like about this more than MKX is I didn't like MKX's X-rays. I thought they were kind of dumb. So these just fatal blows. I think it's a lot better. I think they went back to the basics kind of in a way here, and just they didn't take it to such an extreme with X-rays, and they just kind of a little more back to what it's always done and what it's doing. And I think MKX tried a little too hard to be something different in its own thing, which they accomplished. But I kind of like that they went from that to here. This like nice back and forth kind of. I think they did good here. It's a good game. But, you know, it's a fighting game. It looks good. It's clean. It feels good. All these things. More Mortal Kombat. That's about it. Not much else to it. If anything, these games keep coming out because it's like, you know, some games do get old enough to where it's just kind of what they have to do. It's totally understandable. They can't make, because people play this every single day. And they can't just keep forcing those particular people to just keep playing this over and over, right? Because granted, they want to make those sales, they want everyone to play it, but that most people are probably going to play this up to like a week, if anything, right? And probably put it down forever, if anything. Maybe they'll come back to it for some reason, but the people that keep these games alive are the fighters and the people that actually want to get good and practice and take these games seriously and are a little bit more disciplined. And you know, because either they are competitive or they just want to play online, or just they're PvP people or whatever it may be for fun, right? With family, friends, or partners or whatever. And it's a good game to play with people. It's a very interactive game. It's just you against your opponent. There's no teams, there's no weird shit, it's not too crowded. It's just you against your enemy, you know, aka someone that could be your friend or whatever, right? Yeah. Mortal Kombat 11. Fight!